welcome. There we go. Welcome, guys. So today we're starting a new run-through. We are doing a playthrough with the football player, the cook, and the scavenger. Which one do you think will be most important and pivotal in our playthrough? You should really stay tuned and find out. So, Pavle, Bruno, and Marco, that's the one we're going to be working on today. See if we can survive this war, eh? I don't know why I say eh. Okay. Relax and do some gaming. Alright, so we instantly see which house we're in. We are definitely in the first house. The one that was original with the game. Not the one from the patch. Although I like the other house. Alright, so I believe that's Bruno the cook. That would be No, that's the scavenger and that's the football player. That's what I'm thinking. Alright, how long has the siege lasted? It's hard to say when every day is a struggle for survival. This city is crawling with snipers. Shelling is ordinary business almost every night. Phones don't work, there's a shortage of food and meds, and many people are left homeless. Bruno and Marco have always been good friends, so when the war broke out, they decided to stick together. They met Pavle while scavenging for supplies. He used to be Pogren's star football player. Now he's just another homeless victim of war. So they teamed up, hoping for the best. Alright guys, ready? Fingers crossed, we're gonna do it! Alright, so let's take a quick look at things. Pavle, what can he do? He's a fast runner, but he's slightly wounded. Check out his bio. This tells us everything we need to know, mostly about them. So again, top left corner, named Pavle. Right corner over here, he's a fast runner. There is no other writing under here, so that means he doesn't smoke and he doesn't drink coffee. Here's a little of his story. Before this whole mess began, I lived with my wife and son in the better part of the city. I haven't seen them in a long time. I hope they are okay. I'm not doing so well, as you can see. Who needs football players during war? Nobody cares about sports when every day can be their last. So I scavenge the ruins like everyone else, hoping for the best. And he will tell us more of his story, as we move on. Let's check out who's next. Bruno, what does he do? He's a good cook. Bio. So, Bruno, good cook. Oh, Bruno's a smoker. That means that it makes him happy when we have cigarettes. He will consume 3 cigarettes a day. So just things to have in mind. Before the war, I used to own a restaurant. I even had my own TV show, Bruno's Cuisine. I'm sure you've seen it. I visited beautiful places where I was filmed cooking exquisite dishes. All that seems of no importance now, don't you think? Nowadays, you're lucky if you get your hands on some canned meat or a bag of rice. And who knows how long this war is going to last. Alright, so Bruno. Bruno is a good choice. He uses less stuff when he cooks, so he'll use less fuel, he'll use less water. He also uses less things at certain stations like the moonshine and the alcohol distillery and the herb making place. He uses less stuff there, so that's good. I mean, we don't usually make that stuff unless we're doing pretty well anyway, but every little bit helps, so he'll really be helpful before we get everything upgraded as far as cooking. So, and there's nothing wrong with him, he's not sick or anything. Let's see, Marco, skilled scavenger, slightly sick. Pooh. Huh. Alright, so, his name's Marco. He's a skilled scavenger. He doesn't have any habits or anything like that. I thought I'd been through hell before. I'm a fireman. I've entered blazing buildings to save lives more times than I care to remember. But back then I had people up against a common foe, namely the fire. Nowadays, your former neighbor can kill you because your grandparents spoke a different language than his. This is true hell on earth. Now, I want to say that he will find more stuff, but let me double check that for you guys because I don't want to tell you wrong. I can't spell, apparently. Skilled scavenger. So I'm pretty sure that he seems to find more stuff. He also has a bigger backpack, which is super awesome. It has 15 slots in it. Again, not the biggest backpack in the game, but definitely super, super helpful. Alright, so let me double check here on what I said. Okay, so actually it says that he doesn't have, that really, skilled scavenger just means that he has a bigger backpack. So there you go. So he has 15 slots instead of the usual 10 or 12. Some of them even only have 8 slots. The only one who's better than him is Boris. The bad thing about Boris is that he's really loud. He doesn't sneak well, where Marco does sneak pretty well. So, alright guys, first thing first, we find everything we can in this house. Let's go, go, go! We have a slightly sick and a slightly wounded. So we have food, we have components, we have parts. We got some lockpicks as well, which is always super nice. Okay, we have more building stuff, which is good. So we need to be thinking, what do they need for tonight? What do they need? Nobody's hungry yet. They won't be hungry until tomorrow. So we don't have to have a stove right this very second. Also, it's 17 degrees Celsius right now, in the middle of the day. Wow, that was a little weird, wasn't it? He just ran. Okay. Whatever. So it's 17 degrees Celsius. That is not the warmest. It could be when we start. The warmest I've ever had it at the beginning is like 22 degrees Celsius. Hey, leave that cat alone. So it's definitely not the warmest. Usually at about 14 degrees Celsius, they start saying, oh, hey, it's really cold. So that makes me think winter is going to come faster here, which makes me a little bit worried. So we kind of really need to make sure that we get, we need to be able to get a furnace going at some point kind of soon. Maybe not exactly right this very second, but we need to keep it in mind because it's not starting out as warm as it should. On the flip side, because it's starting out at 17 degrees Celsius, that also tells me we might be in for a shorter war. We might not have the full 45-day war. It might just be 32, which is kind of nice. I mean, it's always nice to have a ballpark. Hi, Gary. Hi, how are you today? Welcome, my friend. Alright, so we are going to start on beds as well. With 3 people, we need at least 2 beds to start with. I figure 1 will stay on guard, 1 will go out and scavenge, and the last 1 will sleep. The only time that really changes is when we are on a high crime spree, like when there's high crime in the area. Then we need 2 people to stay up at night. At that time, we'll have to have 3 beds, or at least. So, but right now, that's not an issue. So we need 2 beds. Let's make the other. Alright, how's everybody doing on there? It's 12:50. Now, I guess let's go over the interface a little bit. We already kind of talked about the characters and the cards. Let's talk about up here. So it's day 1. This is the clock. It's 1:20 p.m. game time. You only have until 8 o'clock. So there's a little bit of a time management type thing going on. And then this tells you the temperature. Now, if you're like me, I'm not really familiar with Celsius. I use Fahrenheit personally myself. So I wasn't quite sure exactly what everything meant. Oh, hey, look. Woo! So this is good. We have bandages. I'm not going to use him yet, though, because he's just slightly wounded, so I think he'll be fine. The color changes. So it'll start being less and less red, and it'll go all the way down to gray, so that will help you gauge it. Also, just listen to the characters. The characters will say, oh, hey, it's starting to get cool. Oh, hey, we should think about heating. Things like that. Or you can do what I did my very first playthrough, and I actually just got like a little graph that showed me if this is what it is Celsius, this is what it is Fahrenheit. I won't lie. And, you know, it's nothing to be ashamed of because they can die from being frozen to death, so something good to think about. Okay, so what are we gonna build next? We already have their beds. We don't have to have the stove for till tomorrow. So what do we get? What do we do? Well, here's what I usually do. I usually do a metal workshop next, and I do that because we can make our shovels, we can make lockpicks, we can make crowbars, we can make knives, so we can start with weapons. So I always make this next on day 1. It seems a little counterintuitive, but I don't want to. I don't want to make a stove if they don't need it. You know, they're not gonna need it till tomorrow. I should be able to get enough stuff tonight, so it'll be fine. Now he's not gonna be able to go through both of those piles, but even just one would be okay. Let's see, is there anything you can make here? Not really. We have a radio. Which radios are important. I do highly recommend you get one. It will tell you what's coming up. There's no girl characters? No, not on this one. On this one, there's no girl characters. It'll tell you, when it's going to be getting cold, when crime is on the rise, what value certain items have in trade, when they go up and down. It's important. Okay, so right now we can't really make anything. We don't have enough components, but that's okay. I mean, we've made it. It's there. So we only have 2 things of food, which is okay. We have 1 bandage. I really need some medications, but they're only slightly sick and slightly wounded, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Normally, I would always have Marco go out and scavenge because Marco has 15 slots, but I don't think I'm going to do that today. I think for today I'm going to let him sleep and see if he will heal on his own, because he is very important. If I were to rank these characters on importance, I'd probably do the scavenger first, and then the cook, and then the football player. So, alright, let's see what's going on. Here on the radio, the rebel leader instructed us to warn the listeners not to cross the front line. Failure to comply could result in death. Well, duh. Alright, despite desperate counterattacks by the rebels trying to lift the siege off Pogren, the city remains cut off. Government forces do not allow any aid to reach the city, claiming it would end up in rebel hands. About weather. Upcoming days should still be nice and warm, perfect for a stroll in the park. Well, that's good to hear. Turn some music on, keep everybody happy. We're just kind of waiting on Bruno to finish trying to move that pile. We only have till 8 o'clock. I don't know if we'll be able to finish it or not. Not sure. Oh, we will. And then whatever he can do to start on the next one is always helpful. Alright, so yeah, we're not going to be able to do much. There it goes, 8 o'clock. It's nighttime now. So this is what you'll see before every night. We have to plan out what we're going to do. So it gives us 3 areas to start off with that we can scavenge. The abandoned cottage. A family barricaded themselves in this house, but despite their efforts, looters got inside. It's been abandoned ever since. Still, we might find some useful things that the looters overlooked or left behind. So it shows you what's in there. Lots of food, huge amounts of materials, some meds, lots of weapons, lots of parts. And it is safe. They'll always give you at least 1 safe one. Okay, so then we have the ruined villa. They say some people still live there against all odds. They must have some supplies stocked, like canned food and possibly bandages or medicines. But they don't want to trade. If we're desperate, we could try to steal from them. Okay, we don't really want to steal right now. And then the quiet house. It's in a housing estate that remains almost untouched. It's a calm area of little houses with porches and gardens. Most of those houses are still inhabited. People are trying to lead normal lives here. We've got nothing to look for there unless we're willing to steal. And so we don't want to steal right now, so we're just going to go to the abandoned cottage. Again, Marco is the best one. He has 15 slots, but we're going to let him sleep because he's sick. So Bruno's going to guard. You always leave 1 person guarding if you can. And we're going to have Pavle go. Now I do know I will need the lockpick. Again, this is like our 13th or 14th playthrough, something like that, so we just kind of know what to expect. It's safe, but we will need a lockpick. We'll actually need another one. We won't be able to finish with this. So, a couple new icons